So today you're going to see behind the scenes of the world's fastest growing skincare brand, Qure Skincare. We're going to go through everything in terms of how we do culture, team building, some updates from all the team, what worked this year, what didn't work. Hopefully you guys can see what it takes to really build a global skincare brand, because team is everything and our philosophy is build people to build a business. Let's go. All right, so now with us is Marin, long-term friend and partner at Inspire Digital Agency, where he took Footy from 4 to 250 mil. He did Vessi, and now he's doing the media buying at Qure, which we're very privileged to have. So he's seen a lot. He runs the agency and also is hands-on within Qure. We spent
around 10
mil this year on Facebook. So what do you think was the main driver to us spending more? And I guess maybe tell the people, like, what have you seen in other people's ad accounts, all the different clients we have? What's the common theme this year? How are people winning and some people not winning?
Yeah, so I did probably like over 80 audits this year. So pretty much I do the audit like every 3-4 days. So I have definitely insight what's working, what's not working. Yeah. On our side, what propelled the success in the ad account is everything else that we did outside of the ad account.
Yeah, and this is the main thing a lot of the time, right?
Yeah, so like, offer, whitelisting, different angles, different personas, like it all make my job easier, because for me, Facebook ads are just set of amplifiers. They're like cherry on a top. They're putting a fuel on a fire. So when I have something to work with, I'm the guy that's going to squeeze the most out of it.
How much do you think your job impacts on overall performance? Like how much could you provide a lift to brands? 10, 20%?
Yeah, probably 10, 20% from the technical standpoint. Like it also depends in what state the ad account is. Like what are the exclusions? How good is the optimization? How many view conversions there are? What's the testing structure? Stuff like that. So basically, if that's well, then I cannot do much. But like there's still a lot of ad accounts that do not have optimal setup. And like we have optimal setup.
What's that setup?
Setup is like pretty simple. We have ABO testing campaign where each new concept is a new test. So let's say if on a weekly basis we are testing 15 concepts, I'm going to have 15 ad sets. Maybe it sounds like too much, but I still want to give each creative a fair chance of succeeding. That's why I separate them. So if I get 3 videos from creator A, that's going to one ad set. Then I got 5 us versus them images, that's another ad set. So basically I want to get winner from each of the batch, each of the concept, and right away I scale them in testing. So often people ask me like, how come you're scaling in testing? But like, I don't care if it's labeled as testing. It's labeled as testing only because I'm launching new ads there. But whatever is working, I keep scaling. There's some stuff that I go from 100 to 300 and then I cannot do much. Sometimes I go from 100, I have one ad set that I got from 100 to 10K and it's still spending 10K, So if it continue to perform, I'm going to increase the budget. So that's the kind of like core setup. Often that testing campaign becomes the highest spending campaign in the ad account.
Yeah. I think one takeaway for me as acting CMO, CEO, whatever, which I probably missed out on this year, was not scaling creative output based on spend. And if you're in a seasonal business like us, where June is probably a bit quieter, you should test a lot less creatives, right? Because people aren't buying. So you don't want to waste your time, energy, resource into a piece of creative that you spend all this time working on and it's not going to convert. And that's where we're going to take lessons from this year into next year, where, if January is a big month and we're spending double the amount of ad spends, then we should test double the amount of creatives. And you have to start working out like an actual budget for creatives based on the amount of spend. I think our budget's going to sit at 3% ad spend we invest for creatives. Whatever makes sense for you. I think ours is about 3 to 5% we'll spend on ad spend, we'll spend on creatives. So that's going to help us forward. And in terms of, like what Marin said, just focus on creative diversification, angles and offers. That's what's going to get you to spend the most money. But I think that's it. Anything else you want to leave them with?
Yeah, so I would like maybe touch base on my scaling campaign, which is Advantage Shopping Plus with cost cap, where I took all of the winners from testing, put them into Advantage Shopping Plus. I make sure that I use post ID so the ad carries the social proof. But the beauty of this cost cap approach is like my budget is 50K in that campaign, but my constraint here is not the budget, it's the bid. So I put the bid around my target CPA. And then Facebook would just like, on random Tuesday, it would spend 7K. On Thursday, it would spend 15K. But on a weekend, it would spend 50K. So basically, Facebook is doing the scaling for me. I call that weekend scaling because conversion rate is higher on a weekend. More people are on the phone. So I never know as a media buyer how much I can scale. Should I increase the budget from 1K to 2K or from 1K to 5K? This way, Facebook does the scaling for me. And this is something that we massively leverage during this Black Friday, Cyber Monday, as well as during all of the weekends.
It allows you to be super efficient as well.
Yeah, because in theory, it should not go above that.
Yeah,
But it
does
goes,
sometimes,
it does sometimes, but I'm fine with taking a hit on a slightly higher CPA because I have way, way bigger volume. So then the volume offsets inefficiency.
Amazing, perfect. Thank you, buddy. So here we have Sonja. So Sonja is what I call our Wendy. For you guys that watch Billions, essentially she's like a performance psychologist, and she's helped us develop the culture here. And we use predictive index, which I think is really changed the game in terms of us hiring people and our hiring accuracy. And probably Sonja should tell them about like, what are we actually looking for when we're hiring people using predictive index? Because we're doing behavioral tests and we're doing cognitive tests with them, right? What does it kind of allow us to understand about the person before we bring them into our family here?
It is more important that we understand the job that we are looking for, and we also assess the job and the task that person is going to perform. And when you have the clarity about the job and the performance at the work, then it is somehow easy for you, if you are using predictive index, to fit the right person on the right position. So when we are talking about behavioral traits, then you can see that if the person is team worker or individual, how it is dealing with the risk, is he or she people-oriented or task-oriented, how about the rules, is she following the rules or a bit flexible and creative in their own way. So when you are having the clarity of the task and the clarity of the person, it is relatively easy to match.
Yeah, I think, and that's where we probably came unstuck before. We're hiring people with probably incorrect behaviors and attitudes and personalities for the job role they had. And that's where we came disconnected. But then also I think what Sonja does is she matches these profiles with the rest of the team to see if there's no clashes, right?
Yeah, if there is clash, it is normal. And it is also important there is some clash, because in the teamwork there is different personalities that contribute to perform the goal. But if you know from what point of yourself is coming this clash, it is not then clash, it is the area of the growth. And you can easily understand that under the pressure, some people are going really inside, focus. You notice this during today teamwork. Some people under the pressure really go, keep quiet, task-oriented, just do it. On the other hand, the others are very talkative. They need to discuss it. They need to think about it. Let's go, especially under the pressure. So if you combine these two personalities in one team without understanding what is happening behind, then the person who is task-oriented will say, okay, this is bullshitter. He is just gossiping, talking around, and not performing the work. And the other will thinking, oh my God, this person is too rigid. He's task-oriented. He don't care about my opinion, he don't care about anything. What's wrong with what kind of unhuman being I'm working with? When you have this clarity, then it is easy to find the way and to understand each other.
And I guess the takeaway for home, of anyone at home and having brands, is that go the extra mile in terms of hiring people. I think the culture in terms of people you hire is probably the biggest competitive advantage you have. And understanding the people at a deeper level before you hire them and make that jump makes all the difference. And I think we've probably increased our hiring accuracy by, I don't know how much percent, by bringing Sonja on board and also by using predictive index.
The main point is that entire marshmallow needs to be on the top of this structure. You may break the spaghetti, you can cut the string into smaller pieces, but you cannot add any new material. This is the equipment that you have. Also, all team members need to participate. So if you are in the team, Dino, sorry, I can record for you, but you will be the part of the team. Just plan, experiment, discuss it, test it, and do it. Simple as that. You will have 18 minutes to... 18? Yes, 1-8. Okay, the mastermind, team number 1. We can measure this up to the high marshmallow. It will be 23.
Okay. It's artistic. It's artistic.
Okay, team number 2, almost the same, 22.
Opa!
Team number 3. Okay. It is standing over there. It is 13. 13. Okay, it is 38.
38.
38.
Not bad. Not bad for a girl without a talent.
And the team number 5. It looks like that we are having a winner here. Of course. It is standing. It is enough. 49.
And this is Glorija.
Hi, everyone.
She's also my cousin. You're starting to get the picture. Product development, Google, founder, family business. So Glorija has been running Google and YouTube for us since day one.
Yes.
And that's her only job. I think a lot of brands don't really have a full-time person doing just Google or YouTube. But if they want to do it properly, you kind of need to, because Glorija's doing a lot of work behind the scenes. And last year we over-indexed on brand. That's probably where we made a lot of improvements this year, where we weren't spending a lot on brand, which didn't give us incremental dollars. And then Glorija's been working super hard on increasing top-of-funnel traffic via some strategies, haven't you?
Yeah.
So what's been working, what hasn't been this year?
So just to reflect a bit on that branded side.
Yeah.
So as probably everyone's aware of the PMAX on Google side,
Yeah.
we were very optimistic to try to run that. But then after a while, we figured that it's doing mostly of retargeting stuff. So we did an incrementality test only around PMAX, and we found out that it's not really incremental at all. And we decided to remove the branded in total. The next thing that we were like kind of aiming for was reaching top of the funnel audiences.
Yeah.
And there were a few strategies around that, but I think the two that are most worth mentioning is around shopping and landing pages.
Yeah.
So what we tried to think of our products for specific kind of concerns or specific problems people are having with their skin, and created pages around that. It's a huge job, and it's definitely...
I think Glorija's target now is to make like 5 to 10 pages a month.
Yeah,
These are unique pages. Like they could be tutorials, they could be blogs, but essentially they're just top of funnel landing pages that are towards big keyword volume.
Exactly. So basically, just to give you guys one example, we tried to do a landing page around dark spots, and we basically just created a copy around that. And then, for example, if you want to use that page for shopping ads or shopping IDs, you just adjust titles and descriptions, and with that you unlock a whole new volume of the keywords that you weren't able to target with your original product.
I think the CPCs are cheaper when it's going to blogs that we found.
Yes, that's another thing. So with those, I would say less salesy pages, you end up with higher click-through rate because they're like very much adjusted to the person, obviously searching the keyword, and you end up with a lower CPC. So it's like a win-win situation.
But it just does take a lot of resources. Why no one does it, right? We have to have a copywriter, or Glorija's doing it. Then you have to have a designer. Then you have to load the pages, code the pages, and test all these things, and then optimize the pages. So.
Yeah, I think the important part is, and that's what also we discovered in the meantime, to have a strategy for that. Yeah. You want to kind of research what you're aiming for, which type of keywords you're aiming for, or the pages, whatever. And then based on that strategy plan, kind of execute which pages you want to do first.
Yeah, it's a good point. You kind of want to go where the lowest hanging fruit is in terms of your product and move the way down.
Yeah.
So tips for everyone in 2026 is to stop spending on brand if you are.
Definitely. And even that, now with Google, the latest edition is like when PMAX launched, you couldn't do like anything, you couldn't see anything. Now they're like trying to open up things more.
Oh, so you can see if it's...
Yes, so basically now you can see search terms, basically the same as you have in the search campaigns, and you can add negative keywords by yourself. So like people will probably know, before that you would need to reach out to the Google rep and he would do it for you.
Yeah.
Right now you can do it yourself. So I honestly don't see a reason why anyone should have a branded stuff there.
So if you haven't got money for incrementality testing, just take our word for it. And if you're looking for more top of funnel traffic, start creating some specific pages around specific keywords that are super relevant, that's going to more educate the consumer before trying to sell them whatever you're looking to sell.
That's it.
That's it. Well done. We've been doing this. Let's say, picture this. We have 2 circles. When we go and try and solve multiple problems at once, we do this. Instead, if we all focus on our resources on one specific goal at a time, we'll go here. Is that making sense? All these arrows signify time and energy. And the game we play in is literally strategy means prioritization. That's all it means. So we have Lucija. Lucia's been with us for 2 years now.
3 years.
3?
3
really?
years
Shut up.
in Feb,
Oh
yes.
my God. She came in as a junior, now she's running the whole shop. She's been a big help. And I think she's learned a lot, especially in the last year. Our influence team, we kind of had this philosophy. I ask myself this question at the start of every year. if I know what I know now about the team, would I hire them again? And if it's a no, then we kind of cut and hire some new A players, because A players want to work with A players, right?
Exactly.
And Lucija had 4 people in the team, and then she was down to 1, just herself at the start of the year.
Yes,
And we
it was
kind
rough.
of, it was rough. She was doing everything, and we kind of rebuilt, and I think it was the right decision. We're gonna.
I totally agree. One of the biggest learnings of this year was quality over quantity. So basically, last year we were trying to push a lot of content, and we really did it. But I just couldn't dedicate, enough of my time to these creators, to these agencies, and they really deserve that, So this year we decided to shift it around, and we decided to go with influencers who we thought were a really good fit for us and with less pieces of content. So I was able to build real relationships with these people. It really proved to be a good strategy, because with almost 50%, I think, less content than last year.
Yeah, and 50% less people. You almost by
Exactly.
yourself until a couple months ago, yeah.
Exactly. We were able to bring more revenue than last year.
Double the revenue probably with half the people.
Yes, exactly. So
And the landscape's changing, I think. I think the creators are asking more and more money, right? You've seen the last 2-3 years. So you have to find that perfect match. And unless you find that person match where in terms of the avatars you're going after and the audience that the influencer actually reaches, then we don't see the sales.
yes, the prices have really gone nuts.
Yeah.
And you really have to prioritize which creator to book and which creator not to book. But I think we really took some good decisions this year. For example, this morning I received an email from an influencer telling me, hey, I'm thinking of, going exclusively with you guys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, not collaborating with your competition. And I think it's because I email this person on a
100%.
weekly basis,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
she feels like she knows me, and I feel like I know her.
Yeah. It's a people game, you know?
So yes,
And I
human
think-
contact and
And I think, I'm not sure about you, but a lot of these people are more protective about their own brand, They don't want to be seen advertising 3 different LED masks or 5 different water filters. They want to stay brand loyal and rather repeat the same brand over and over again, because then to their audience, they still gain trust. Otherwise, they lose trust. They start representing all these different brands.
they really want to, retain that trust, audience trust, because it's their job,
And what about the type of creators? What have you seen that works? Is it more educational style, lifestyle? What do you think? How would people watching? How they think through the lens of what type of influence to attract for their brand?
A really good question. We did have some learnings this year in regards to that too. So something that kind of stayed the same for the past few years is OG YouTubers.
Yeah.
So OG beauty creators who have really gained trust of their audience throughout many years. Some of these people are on YouTube for 15 years,
Yeah,
which
wow.
is crazy. So they always work. But this year we kind of tackled into home decor and also lifestyle, which previously didn't work for us.
Yeah.
I think we needed to kind of build awareness first,
Yeah.
so that lifestyle people could also work for us.
Work for us, yeah.
Which is also really interesting, because before we didn't know why they didn't work. But I think some things just take time.
Yeah, and I think we have a better offer today than we did a couple of years ago.
Yes.
And if the offer, starts converting better, then everything starts to work a bit easier.
Yes, it was a combination of many things.
Yeah.
But yes, of course, we used to only have 10% off or something
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
So what are the key metrics in finding? Maybe you can say the top 3 things you look for in terms of finding an influencer fit for your brand, for people look for.
For our brand, the metric we always look in their statistics is older audience. It has to be people who are able to buy our products, and then also women for the most of the...
But in terms of the pages, you're looking for a certain engagement rate.
So engagement rate is out.
Really?
We don't look at it at all.
Really?
So we use Saral. I showed you Saral. It has a
yeah.
diehard fan percentage.
Okay.
Diehard fan percentage is basically they're somehow able to calculate how fast people are reacting to their content, how many people, and if they are always the same people. So this is how they calculate kind of a loyal audience. And it has somehow proved to be true almost in like
that's the number
90% of cases.
That's number one metric you look at.
Yes, we look for diehard fans.
And what percentage of diehard fans should it be?
It can be like any percentage. If there's like 2%, it means something.
So
but
2 or
if there's
more.
like, yes, 2 or more, yes. But if there's 20, it's like, okay, we have to work with this person.
So recap would be go deeper with a fewer amount of creators. In terms of finding the creators, find people, we use Sorrel with a
Yes.
diehard percentage of 2% or more. And what about multi-content piece agreements versus singular? Do you test first, like do you do one piece of content and then sign up multiple?
Yes, in most of the cases, we always prefer to do one test. Sometimes in the past, we would do a long term. Wouldn't really go that good, so we learned from that. And from now on, we always first test with one. If it works, then we book a long term. And then it's so much easier for us to, you know, because you sign it once and then you're just like managing it, going back and forth with emails and...
And always negotiate, right? Everything's negotiable.
Of course. Never agree to
The first
what they
price.
ask. Yes, exactly.
Cool. Anything else you can think of that might help them? What's the plan for next year?
wow.
More of the same?
Definitely building relationships. Just
But
like this year.
also, we do things that, stuff like Christmas gifts, right? Give Christmas gifts to all the influencers. You did
Yes.
sometimes personalized stuff last year, remember?
Always, yes. Always we want them to feel like they are seen, you know, by us and appreciated also. It's their job and they want to be appreciated just like anyone
Yeah,
else.
definitely.
So yes, definitely personalized Christmas gifts. And also just like type emails. Don't always use just ChatGPT. When I see an email completely written ChatGPT, like without any changes, I kind of like... I'm really sad when I see that. It's like talking to a robot or something. Take your time, write a good email, you know. It'll maybe make someone's day.
Or maybe just on that, like the outreach process, you're doing what, Instagram, email, and how many, like, is it consistent follow-ups every single week?
We try to, you know, communicate with every influencer we are in contact with at least once per week. If we are already, you know, like if we book them already. But if we are still trying to reach them, then we do every 2 to 3 days, depending on who it is and where we try to reach out. First we do email,
Yeah.
and then we do DMs, and then we also do TikTok DMs.
Yeah. And the reality is that you're going to probably have to reach out several times before you even get a response. Like I'm talking, what, 10 sometimes, maybe
Exactly.
12?
There's something interesting. So basically, what I started doing with our new team members this year is like they try to reach out to people who we could like never, you know, get them to reply, and somehow they reply. So it takes sometimes like 3 years for someone to reply.
Yeah. I guess as your brand grows, it becomes
Yes,
also a bit easier because
exactly,
they're seeing it, more credibility. But
someone has more luck, someone has less luck. It really depends.
And in terms of like the bigger the creator, the bigger results, is that, I'm sure that's not always true, but you know, generally speaking, is that the case?
I mean, not necessarily. For me, it's always the most interesting to see, you know, for someone with like, I don't know, 3K reach of a video to generate like, I don't know, like 50 sales or something like that. You can really see their audience trust them. So it's not always the case, but like more than 50% maybe, yes.
Yeah, and that's why it's like important also to look at the type of content the creator's doing, right? If they're just doing like bikini shots or nothing's educational, there's no value there, then, you know, they probably don't have much influence over their audience. But I think if they're pushing education content first and adding a lot of value, then you know the audience is kind of more influenced by what they're saying.
Yes, education will always be important.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
All right, hope that helps. Well done. So for a lot of you that don't know, we've actually exploded on TikTok Shop this year. Went from like 0 to $2 or $3 million a month in 6 months, and Anna's been leading the way for us. A lot of turbulence because we weren't understanding what the platform is, but I think now we've got the hang of it. What do you think, Anna, is the strategy moving forward, and why do you think we had such a massive growth trajectory so quickly?
Well, we have great products, and we have a couple hero products that are perfect for TikTok Shop. And yeah, so when I started 2 months ago, I think that's about when we started pretty much blowing up and doing really, really well in 1 month, like over 1 million GMV. So strategy moving forward is we want to keep this momentum.
Yeah.
Some things that we're implementing now is we are trying to send out a lot more samples to creators, and we're not just focusing on creators that are in our niche. So beauty and personal care niche, whereas we were doing that
Before,
in the first
yeah.
place. But now we're trying to also kind of grow into different niches because TikTok is just different. There's creators that just know how to sell, especially for TikTok Shop.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
Yeah, it's a big difference. So we're just trying to find those creators that can pretty much sell anything. They don't have to be in the beauty and skincare niche.
Is there a GMV, like a minimum GMV that we're looking for in terms of?
In the beginning, we were looking for top creators, but now a lot of top creators are also reaching out to us and working with us. For sending out samples, we're also reaching creators that have a smaller GMV.
Of what,
but
10 grand or more?
Yeah,
20 grand?
like 10 grand or more. I
The
would
minimum
say.
10 grand or more, otherwise we won't send a sample.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, 10 grand or more is kind of our requirement.
How many samples are we sending out a month? What's the target?
So in the beginning, we were doing maybe 500, but we're trying to grow. So we're sending out, target for this month is 2,000. Then we're going to go try and do 3,000 and more. We're just going to see with the strategy for now.
Because the feedback we got, I think, and we're trying to get like, and the way we look at these things, every time a new channel comes, we try and consult with people who've already done what we're looking to do. We've had a number of consults, and the kind of consensus is that it doesn't work for all brands. Just sending out more samples doesn't work. So the only way for us to know is by testing.
Also, simultaneously, we want to also try to build our communities of creators that are already creating a lot of GMV for us.
How are we doing that?
So we do have a Discord channel. We're trying to bring all these creators into the Discord channel. So far, we have maybe around 200 creators. Yeah. And there we want to pretty much let them know about all these different campaigns we're joining, all these different deals we're having, and we give them like the product briefs, campaign briefs. All of that is in the Discord channel so that
What's working, what's not working.
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
educating them and training them to
pretty much educating these creators and making them feel good and part of our Qure family.
And we're doing like competitions and stuff with them.
Yeah, so we also want to start doing, well, for this month we are doing a competition. So it's like a holiday competition. Top 3 creators with the highest GMV will receive some prizes, and we're going to try and do some kind of challenge or game every single month so that these creators also have motivation to create more videos for us and they actually enjoy working for us.
So like if we're going to sum it up for anyone trying to launch a TikTok shop, I think you have to have a cracker offer. Like we're understanding more and more. If you don't have like a really, really enticing offer, it's just not going to work. So we have to be a bit more aggressive. We're trying to create products that are unique to TikTok shop because we're going to be more aggressive that we don't want to see on the website. GMV, at least 10,000 or more.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be really niche specific. It's more important to find creators that actually can sell than a niche. And you'll see like there's creators that make great organic content and there's just these creators just sell, like it's insane. And then create a community. Do it on Discord, Facebook, WhatsApp. We did Discord.
Anything that works.
Yeah, anything that works for you guys. Or maybe where your creators are. You know, if it's an older demo creators, maybe they don't know what Discord is. So maybe try Facebook.
Yeah.
But that's the main thing. Offers, samples, get creators based on specific GMV and have a community. And you should be set.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, Anton.
Okay.
So I'm with Sonja. Sonja's the head of customer success or support? You like success better. Yeah, she likes success better. At Qure. And I think the big takeaway for me this year was that Sonja was able to, with all the additional tickets, we grew, about 100%. So with growing 100%, you get 100% more tickets, right? And customer support, emails and everything else. And she managed to manage that whole customer support function with only spending an extra 5% of resources, which was a massive win for us. And especially the CEO, we love that. We love that. But I guess the question is like, how did you do that? Like we got double the amount of inquiries and everything else. What are the things the changes you made that enabled you to have that level of support? Because the feedback online is amazing. I Trustpilot reviews are up. I had a person I saw on the Impact support channel now the other day saying that you changed her life. She got some replacement in hospital or something. Exactly. How did you do it?
So it comes down to looking at where the issues are, right? Looking at what the drivers are, where the problems are, where we can have maximum impact, actually. That's where we started, and it comes with a lot of planning. So looking at the beginning of the year to prepare yourself for the rest of the year. So I think for us, the biggest initiatives were data. So really understanding what customers are saying.
And how did you do that?
But the biggest thing is, right, you're only as good as what your agents are putting into your system. So it was about revisiting all of, I guess, our workflows and the way that we're categorizing why customers are contacting us. And that was the first thing. Making sure our tags are spot on and on trend and constantly reviewed. So you don't just write your tags and then leave them. You have to review them regularly, maybe monthly, 3-monthly, quarterly, product launches, when new issues arise. So there's a lot of work into the fundamentals. Once you have the fundamentals, then it's really easy to look at extracting the data, understanding where the pain points are, and then it's breaking them down into little pieces. So it's looking at like, okay, these are our top 10 drivers, but actually let's focus on our first 1, 2. Once we can look at breaking those down, then we can focus on the next, and we kind of pick on the next big issue. And the biggest drivers are around agent confidence and SOPs.
What do you mean by that?
So it's about them feeling empowered that they can make decisions because they're afraid to make mistakes, right? They don't want somebody to then go online or to escalate.
And then leave the customers frustrated because it takes longer to...
Exactly. Or customers aren't treated with... They're purchasing a higher price point item. They have a certain vision of how they should be treated. So they kind of feel that there are too many blockers. You don't want to put blockers in a customer's way. It's about making things really easy for customers. It's that customer experience. So by removing those blockers, empowering your agents to know that they have the ability to make a customer feel valued, really kind of changed their mindset and changed the way they dealt with customers.
Yeah.
So it increased our Trustpilot scores with, up to a 4.5, which is amazing. And it also increased agent satisfaction. So we don't have any tenure. It's really unusual for call centers not to have churn. You lose people consistently. We don't lose people. They love to stay because they feel empowered.
Yeah, I love that. And then how did you manage the whole process? Let's talk about a couple of the key metrics that you kind of track.
Yeah.
And I think the big one for us, your key initiative was to get the price per
contacts transactions
down. And that was down like, what, 50% or something?
Yeah, it is. So when I first started, it was in the high 70s. So we've got that down to below, it's around 25 at the minute.
Why is that an important metric to drive down, the cost per contact?
That's a really good one because your contacts are transactions, right? It shows how many dispatched orders or how many products are going out to customers are going to generate an incoming contact. You don't want customers to contact you. You want them to contact you pre-purchase so that you can have those valuable conversations with them. So that you can drive that value add. You can do that cross-selling. You can educate the customer. And then when they receive the product, you don't want them to come back to you. You want to only come back if they're going to repurchase. So bringing down our contacts or transactions really shows that we're negating a lot of our issues. So whether it's in supply chain, whether it's in deliveries, whether it's around processes, website issues, it was really breaking down why those customers are coming back and really reducing it. And the ultimate goal is to get below 10%, then you've got a real happy customer database.
And then talk about sales. I think you've done a great job of also empowering the CS agents to sell. You even have people calling abandoned carts, generating a fair bit of revenue now. Is that because of Rich Panel? Because you want to use Rich Panel and AI. How has the AI of Rich Panel impacted us?
So Rich Panel's made it really easy to have that integration, to be able to link a customer interaction with an agent and then a sale, which, previously we've had other solutions and we haven't been able to do that. Yeah. So Rich Panel has that whole link. And by doing that, it means that we can then attribute a sale to an agent. So you can incentivize your agents to drive more sales, which, historically and from previous experience I've had has been really challenging. You've had to use GA and it gets really complicated by doing that. So having Rich Panel has really made that kind of full circle element really easy for us. And it means that they can have these valuable conversations. So they can do that proactive contact with a customer. They can, find out how that person's day is. And then that ultimately leads to the conversion. Our conversion rate is around 30% with those proactive calls.
That's great.
So it's really good. Yeah, really strong.
And most of our CS agents are in the Philippines, right? Mm-hmm. And how did you find in terms of other regions around the world, if we have Balkans, Pakistan, maybe Philippines? Is there a reason we went to Philippines? Was it because it's already set up when you got here? Or
it was kind of already set up, and I did explore looking at other avenues and perhaps cross-utilising more globally. But actually moving to different markets that don't have that infrastructure, that kind of setup really for offshore contact centres makes it really challenging.
And team building and stuff's easier if they're all in one location.
But also you've got because the Philippines is such a strong area for outsourcing, you have people that have a lot of knowledge and a lot of experience already working in that industry. And our team are unique because they're based from home, right? They're not based in an office. They don't go and have to work in big call centres. They're all home-based. They have the disciplines. They have the knowledge. They still work like they're in a contact centre. They're measured by seconds, which is, quite normal in contact centres, in 15-minute intervals and by seconds. So you know what people are doing and when they're doing it, and they maintain that discipline. So Philippines is definitely the right location for our brand.
Yeah, cool. If we're going to leave the other founders that are watching with something like in terms of numbers to track, what are the three main metrics they should be tracking and monitoring their customer support teams to understand if they're doing a good job or not?
In terms of agent tracking or overall business tracking?
Give me business and then agent.
Agent tracking, definitely productivity. You want to make sure that agents are productive, and if there are gaps in productivity, you need to find other things to fill them.
How do you measure that?
Okay, so we have a solution that we use called HubStaff, which basically tracks what people are doing, when they're doing it, and how productive they are within their day. So you really want to hit targets of above 65 to 70% productivity. If it's slightly below, then that's your opportunity to look at what else can I do to fill that time. So do they do outbound calling? Can they generate sales anywhere? Can they review SOPs? Can we look at retagging? So That's where you identify throughout the year your opportunities where you can drive growth. Another one is around customer satisfaction. So it's looking at your CSAT scores. So we tend not to track NPS. We track CSAT more than NPS, which, you know, sometimes can be a bit of a mooting argument. But CSAT for us is really key. So we look at our customer satisfaction and link that back to agents. So agents, again, get incentivized. If they have better CSAT scores, it means that they're talking to the customers in the way that we want. So that's a really key metric. It's a basic one, but it's around people's choice. So actually, it's the team voting for people that they feel like the most supportive, help with newcomers, most vocal around things that need to change, because you also want your team to be proactive. If they don't come to you to tell you what's not working, you only know what you know, right?
We should implement the first of the department. I like that. I like that.
So yeah, we do a lot of those activities. So that, in terms of my kind of key things for the team, would be those. And then when I look at the business metrics, it would be obviously being a contact center. We need to look at our talk times and our conversations. That's kind of an underpinning point for me, right? I don't want conversations to necessarily be short. Again, it kind of goes against contact center ethoses, because people want conversations to be short because it's cheaper. Yeah. But actually, having a longer conversation with your customer can drive more value. Yeah, exactly. So it'd be there's an element of looking at your talk times, definitely contact to transactions. That's a really key metric, and your cost per contact. I mean, that's a really big one as well. So looking at your complete costs, so that includes your agent wages, your technology, bonuses, anything.
And what's a good industry standard for them for the cost per contact to aim for?
I mean, anything under $3 is great, but again, it depends on your business model and what you're looking at. Yeah. But yeah, I kind of like to also look at it as a percentage of sales. So you want to know, like in retail. So retail will kind of look at their people costs versus their sales per square meter. Okay. So we kind of look at it in that respect as well. So we have
and each industry will be different, right?
Yeah.
Depending on the product and stuff like that. Amazing. Thank you so much. There we go. Okay. And now over to Anton. Anton actually is a customer before he was a team member.
Correct.
So the story goes is that Anton's also my cousin. But we're at a wedding and he started telling us a story how he was suffering from acne. And he went to the dermatologist, did all the treatments, bought this shit LED mask, didn't work. And then he bought a second LED mask and all of a sudden it cured his acne.
Right.
And then and then we're like, what brand is it? And he's like, oh, it's this blue one, it's Qure. And that's when we told him that was our brand. And ever since then, he's been part of the team and he's been, transformational in terms of our product development and our community management, because he's really helping my sister, the co-founder, Christina, all the new products, and also managing our whole community, right? So I think I'd love you to explain to the audience, how important is it having a community, because we're very engaged with them.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing with them and what intel are you gathering from them that supports us in our new product development or marketing? Like, how does it all work?
Right. Well, previously I was managing the VIP community, and a big part of that process was asking them, putting in polls, questions. Yeah. We would have calls with our suppliers and we wouldn't be sure on like what to do. Would customers want to, have this? Would they actually pay for something like that? So
pre-launching your product, we would question. Okay.
Right. So we would send a lot of polls in our VIP community. We still do. And we get a lot of feedback from them. And they're very honest in the VIP community as well.
Where is it? On Facebook?
On Facebook. They're very honest about it. They genuinely tell us what they like, what they don't like. And then also this year, I did a calling customers program.
Yeah, wait. Listen to how many customers he called. How many did you call?
So Q3, about just under 300.
300. Yeah. And in terms of like the coaching community that we work with, Ecomm Architects, I tell everyone, call your customers. Like, oh, okay. I'm like, how many did you call? Oh, we called a couple. No, 300.
Yeah.
That's how you get to know your customer, by calling 300 people. But I think it was great. You gave us a lot of good stories.
Yes.
And you learned a lot, right?
And not only good stories, we got a lot of constructive criticism, which was good. I liked that. It was very good. I got a lot of percentages out of it, what's stopping certain people from buying our products and why. Yeah. And it really helped shape what we're working on now, these new products. So it's been great. It was great chatting with them. And it's good to know what they're happy with and what they're not happy with.
Yeah, exactly. And you get to understand who exactly is our customer, right? For us, what's important, for me, from a marketing side, is which segment of customers we actually help the most. And we started to learn that the older the customer is, the more effect and the more benefits our products have.
Yes.
Which would give us the high NPS score, which then gives us, better company altogether.
Right.
And in terms of the Facebook community, I think we promote that through post-purchase emails.
Yeah, post-purchase emails, social media, we promote it. We also, in recent batches of our LED mask, we added in a VIP card, actually.
Oh, nice.
So the customer can scan the QR code, they get 20% off when they join the VIP community. Oh, nice. So we're promoting it in that way as well.
And how many people do we have in there now?
Actually, nearly 10,000. We're nearly there. there.
Yeah, wow. So yeah, can't stress how important it is. Anton's also on the product development side. So that's why these things kind of merge and make sense. And he's joining that. He didn't make it to China this year or next year.
Next time.
He's been a great help. So thanks, buddy. All right, so we have Katie with us. Katie has literally changed our business from the moment she came in, I think, because without her, I think I was handling operations, Christina was handling operations. It was a complete mess. But yeah, Katie's literally taken over operations, supply chain. She's introduced a lot of efficiencies and new technologies, I think, which she's going to speak about that really allowed us to be more efficient, right? And I think operations is a part of the business we're not only focused on because it's not sexy, but it's part of the business where you can generate a lot more cash if you're efficient with it. So what do you think a couple of wins that we've had this year in terms of what you've done? And what are some things where maybe tracking or measuring that you think other brands might not be?
So for starting, when last year when I joined, I think that it took me like a very good 1 year to really fully understand the scope and also the rates that we're going in terms of growth. And this year we have actually, I work with other members and identify all the gaps that we have during the operations, because when it comes to operation, there are different key roles and departments in the picture. So it's not just inventory, it's not just marketing, and the connection between and the collaboration between these departments is so crucial that it was, and it usually overlooked with someone without someone who understands the full process. So this year we did really implement a system where we just have a connection. We also have AI generated the full process of product development to supply chain.
How do we incorporate AI for that? What happens?
So we basically have a full system where once we have ClickUp, where Task Manager, once our product development start a project and done all of the samplings, and then they move over to, okay, let's decide we're going to start produce on this. We're going to move the status, and once the status is changed, all of the AI will start producing notification, create subtasks, and then tag me in and tag our team in, basically saying, hey, there's a new product in line for production. We need to start creating new SKUs, new barcode, starting all of this from the beginning from our side. So that was the gap that we did not have before. Like now that AI come over and start covering, being the bridge, bring the bridge closer. We have inventory forecast. We need this amount of goods by this time of the year. So if product development needs to have any changes, you need to make the changes before this date. This again also takes some time for me to learn where the gap is and how big the impact was for us to implement this.
When you say AI, we implemented like an AI inventory forecasting tool where it takes sales data from the last 3 months to 6 months, and we input the growth rate and it kind of backs out how much stock you need to order and stuff like that, right?
Yes. So now that we have an AI for the inventory forecast, we have multiple channels, sales channels. It's no longer just one place like Shopify. We have now also included Fulfill, which is a big tool for us.
Yeah, Fulfill's like our ERP for you guys that don't know. It kind of is our central hub for all our different warehouses. And then everything plugs into Fulfill, where it's like Shopify, Amazon, TikTok.
Yes, not just sales, but also the entire supply chain there.
Entire supply chain, yeah.
Procurement, production, products development, that everything is there. So
and the cool thing is, sorry to cut you off about the Fulfill thing, was before we used to have employees go in the back of the system, and when something was out of stock, change to another SKU and stuff like that. Where Fulfill, you can have automations in place. When something's out of stock, you can say, don't sell X product, sell Y and Z instead of X. And from maybe sell that in the US warehouse, and then ship from the Australian warehouse. You know what I mean? And you create all these different automations so you can make sure that the customer always gets their product. And where before we were manually doing it, and it was actually it's a headache.
So Fulfill has been a big change for us. It took some time for everyone to get on board with that. But once we understand the tool, has been the biggest tool that we've gained. And that settles and that also connects a lot of dots, and bridges a lot of gaps from all of our operation. We also have now, our team works very closely with accounting as well, because we also need to, and B2B and sales and marketing, because all of these needs to be in sync with each other.
Yep.
And this inventory forecast is also another tools where we take into consideration, because we all know sales channels, every channels have a different targeting,
different sales velocity, different sales.
Exactly. So with this, with the sales forecast, which is still, we can do better with these tools, but we already making use of them, getting the right information to plan better in the future. So this year, our biggest win, and I think this really truly is the biggest win, is we have reduced our out of stock situation tremendously, because last year it was, I was in panic. I was stressed all the time, half of the year. But this year, it is a really big win for us. And going forward with many products in the development right now, this is going to be a lot more work for us to make sure that we cover all of the gaps. Yeah, I think AI has been... Yeah.
And I think some of the things that we've been looking into and generating reports for that maybe a lot of you guys are thinking about, it's like the percentage of revenue that shipping costs per country. And then again, the percentage of shipping revenue that it costs per state in the US. And trying to optimize all those things, because sometimes it makes no sense sending to certain states or regions in the US and we're losing money on. But until Katie got the report of the warehouse, put it in ChatGPT and kind of worked out average shipping price per market, per region, then we can start cutting the fat and optimizing that as well.
That was actually a big chunk of the work there. So to identify the area, the regions where it costs more, let's just say Canada, for example, is a big market for us. And it's very hard for us to just like cut off somebody, because we have been advertising, okay, we ship worldwide. But what we can do is, by using all of this data, put into ChatGPT, and then they just say, okay, with this month it has been 40%, the shipping cost is 40% per the revenue. We can decide to add a little bit of the market prices.
Increase the price and stuff like that.
To reduce that gap a little bit. So Australia, we see different markets as well. We always pull out the biggest, the highest markets. Yeah. That's right.
Anything else you think you can leave them with, or that's it? That's enough?
The only thing I would say, there has been very incredible tools we have been using, but I do think that we do have a lot of work that we can even improve better.
Yeah, and I think just know your numbers, dissect your numbers, each country, try to understand the profitability, the contribution margin per market, per channel, per region, because, the more I'm in this, the more I learn that we're probably wasting money in a lot of departments if we don't have our eye on the ball. But
yeah, I agree.
Cool. Keep you posted. Thanks, Katie.
Thank you.
All right, so now we have Dušan, our social media manager, and Qure didn't even have a social media manager for its first 4 years of existence.
Imagine that.
Yeah, imagine that. Literally, it was like reposting other people's videos and stuff like that. It wasn't a big focus for us. And I think it was a big focus for us because in e-commerce in general, in business in general, everything's about sequencing. You can't do everything at once, and you have to pick, your battles and where you put your resources against all the unlimited options you have. So now that we have finally someone on board, our social media is looking better than ever. This year was the aim to kind of humanize the brand a bit more. So myself and Christina were trying to get a bit more on camera. We did a YouTube vlog now of our factories that you guys can see to give you a bit of insights as to how we build the brand. And what's the strategy moving forward? What are you seeing out there?
So social media is changing rapidly.
Yeah.
So the trends that we believed in 6 months ago are now just like rubbish that you don't want to follow. And it's really important to be really quick. So when we see a trend, we make sure that there's like 24-hour turnaround as fast as we can jump on it. But also it's very important to understand that in beauty industry, a lot of brands fail because they want to seem polished, prestigious, and social media is not about that. Social media is about people, about the community. So we try to have our content look professional, put together, but still raw, still relatable, and we had a lot of success. I think it's very rare for brands to have like a couple of million views on Reels, for example, right now.
Yeah, we've had that this year, right?
We had a couple of them on multiple social media platforms.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge success. And also understanding funnels, like when you're looking at marketing courses, like what I was studying at uni, it has changed a lot. I think there's no middle funnel, or it's not as we imagine it. Buying process is not linear as it used to be. We all use multiple social media platforms. So that is all kind of fragmented. That's what we had in mind. That's why we optimized content for each social media platforms differently. And
that's the hard bit, right? Like when we think about our customers, like Instagram content should be different to TikTok and should be different to Facebook. Facebook's older demo, TikTok may be younger, Instagram a bit of both. And it's hard to have the resources to try and do everything properly. So if you're going to choose one channel to start with, would it be Instagram for you?
Definitely Instagram.
Yeah.
But important thing to notice is while we think that TikTok is mainly for younger audiences, our main audience is actually older on TikTok than on Instagram.
No way.
Yeah, it is.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
You got to look at the analytics, and like that's our main driver.
So where should be brands like putting their attention and focus on? Like I'm assuming it's all top of funnel, right? For social media, that's the aim. Depending on what type of business you are, if you have more retention LTV, maybe you're looking to do more retention stuff. But do you think of it through like content pillars or how many external creators, internal creators? How would you think through it?
A complex thing. So I think it's important to consider everything. Top funnel always, I think it's like 80%. Top funnel is also important. But also we have huge Facebook VIP community and which actually drives a lot of engagement. A lot of the content that we use is directly from our customers. So we get that feedback because social media is very noisy and people like when they have space to talk, express themselves. I think top funnel is like our main priority. We should like never forget building the community actually. That's what is going to like sustain us. And while we'll sell most of our like hero products through top funnel, we do a lot of other products in the range through bottom funnel. So that's the plan.
Cool. And I think next year we're toying this idea of creating a series. I think just takes up a lot of resources and time. But what we're trying to see is that if we're going to turn Qure into like a media company, what would that look like? But that's probably bigger picture things for end of 2026. But I see a lot of brands doing that these days. But once again, what works for one brand doesn't mean it works for everyone. I think it's easy to see why other brands are doing things. Oh, that'd be great for my brand, but sometimes it doesn't make sense. So yeah, make sure you're choosing a strategy that makes sense for your brand. And is there anything else you want to leave them with?
I agree. Keep following Qure on social media.
I love it. Thanks, buddy. All right, so that's a wrap. I hope you guys got some value from that. A bit of behind the scenes of the Qure team here and the reason why we are one of the fastest growing skincare brands in the world. It's because of the team. It's not because of me. And I can't stress how important it is for you guys to build a world-class team. It's just so much easier and so much more enjoyable to work with amazing A players. And if you want to learn more about how to build your world-class e-commerce team, at Ecomm Architects, this is exactly what we do. We help you the systems, the processes, the playbooks, how to do everything in-house so you guys can build a dream team and make your brand like grow exponentially without you actually working any more hours. That's the dream, right? So click the link below, apply, and we'll see you on the other side.